Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this week's episode of Who Cares? I am your host, as always, Taylor Wallace, and we are having a really good week. It's been a while since I've recorded one of these. I kind of took a break, and I'm getting back into it again, getting excited about the guests that I have coming up. Very excited about the one that we just spoke to just now, and things are going really well for me. I've been focusing a lot on myself, been working out a lot, playing a lot of pickleball, which we're really going to dive into in this episode, and working on my mental health. I am taking a new medication that is supposed to be helping with my neurological symptoms from my head injury, and it is helping in a big way, which is like so unbelievably relieving to me. I can't even put it into words for you guys. It's been a struggle this year. These neurological symptoms have been so almost debilitating for me, and I've been doing everything in my life anyways, and it's been so uncomfortable, and I'm taking a medication that is now, it's helping. It's helping me substantially, and I'm so unbelievably grateful for it. Yeah, it's been a hard year. So sometimes we need a little help from our friends, and sometimes we need a little help from the pharmaceutical industry, even though on the whole, we hate the pharmaceutical industry on this podcast. All of us. That's just me, because I'm the only one on this podcast. But yeah, I am feeling really good. I'm feeling really positive. And a big part of that is because I've been playing a lot of pickleball, which I've mentioned on here before. And I'm a part of a pickleball community that has become a really big part of my life. And today's guest is the founder of that pickleball community. It's called Capital City Pickleball. He is an incredible man. He lights up every room that he's in. He is just so community driven and people focused. It's amazing to know him and to be in his circle and to see the impact that he's having on the pickleball community in Austin, which it's like pickleball, you can, whatever, like it gets a lot of flack. Some people hate it. Some people love it. I really just enjoy being competitive and playing sports. And in my old age, there's not a whole lot that I can do right now at the moment that isn't going to be bad for my brain. So I got into pickleball at a time where I needed it the most. And this community has just been incredible. What this guy has built is just, I'm envious of it. It's a beautiful thing. I'm now a part of the community. I'm one of the hosts, and I just wanted to get to know him and have people know his story a little bit more. He's a really interesting person. He had a really interesting background moving here from the Middle East when he was young and dealing with the difficulties that were associated with that post 9/11. He's turning into one of my favorite people, and I really think that you're going to enjoy this conversation. Here is my new episode with Mohammad Khan from Capital City Pickleball. Let's get into it. Mohammad.
What up?
What's going on, dude?
Dude, it's finally happening. We're here.
It's finally happening.
I know. I'm so excited to be here. We've been talking about this for a long time, and
yeah,
you have an insane setup, by the way. So congrats on.
Well, it's not mine, but it's a joint effort.
Yeah.
But thank you. Yeah, we like to be a little professional around here.
Very professional. If you aren't seeing it, it's very professional.
Yeah. Our video setup needs some work, but it's work in progress.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is Sony sponsor this man.
Sony. Give me a shout out. Or
Come
GoPro, or I don't care, anybody.
Canon, Nikon, whatever, but
yeah,
we're using a Sony
cameras.
camera, so come on, Sony.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, how's your week?
It's been good. Lots of fun little projects coming up. We have a lot of fun things planned for the community. Facility expansion, cool events, figuring out working on reprogramming, working with some cool sponsors. So I have a few little surprises for the community. And I think it's going to be an exciting year. But, these weeks, I think as the year has been progressing, close of Q1. Now I'm going to sound super professional.
Oh,
here.
now you're talking business talk.
Yeah. Now I got my suit
my
on.
Q1 metrics.
Yeah,
are
my
looking,
Q1 KPIs,
Yeah.
and we're getting together and syncing. What is that? Async. Let me async on that.
We'll circle back.
Yeah, circle.
We'll circle back on this.
Using all the buzzwords.
Yeah.
But no, week's been honestly awesome. I'm super thankful, blessed to week after week. You could just meet so many amazing people, and I think that's what pickleball is all about.
Yeah.
And we'll get into pickleball later, but it's like it just brings people in a way that I've never experienced before.
Yeah.
So my week over week, it's completely different. Interesting meetings, crazy ideas, and I love crazy ideas. So
Yeah.
I hate kind of the boring ones, when people are like, "Hey, we should do this." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." But
Yeah, that's been done a million times.
yeah, so let's come up with something that's fun and unique that brings people together.
Yeah. So for the listeners, when he's talking about the community and talking about things, he's talking about Capital City Pickleball, which is his pickleball community league events, courts that he's founded, and we're going to jump into all of that later. But when I asked you how you're doing this week, I'm interested, like, how is Mohammad doing this week? Like,
That's a very good question.
How are you doing?
Yeah.
Not how's Capital City Pickleball doing?
See, this is where your head always goes, right? You're always
Yeah.
thinking about the community, and especially for me, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what is the health of the community?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of founders / entrepreneurs / community organizers, just that's where their head goes.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not as focused on themselves.
Exactly.
So that's why I wanted to be like, how's Mohammad doing?
Oh, see, good catch,
You know?
good catch. Now we're turning this into a therapy session.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but Mohammed's doing good.
Yeah?
I think, overall, again, I think for me, stuff like this keeps me excited and engaged.
Yeah.
Where I come in and problem solve and, not only on my professional side, but more so on my personal side. I always say there's 4 quadrants to self, right? There's the spiritual aspect, the emotional aspect, intellectual aspect, and physical aspect.
Yes.
And you aim to have everything at 25%, but as we all know, that's not really achievable at times.
Yeah.
Life kind of goes through its ebbs and flows. I think right now I'm very focused on more of, I just came off Ramadan.
Yeah.
So my spiritual high, I've had that, focusing on my emotional side, focusing on the intellectual side, neglecting the physical side, but we're getting back into that.
Well, you're playing some pickleball.
Yeah, playing some.
You could probably do some more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. People are always like, "Oh, you have pickleball courts and you have like a cool community. You have a lot of friends that play." And I'm like, I don't actually play as much as I used to when I didn't
I'm
have
always
courts.
getting on you when I see you on the. I'm like, are you going to play or not? And you're like, I'm too busy running around. I'm like,
Yeah,
that stuff will handle itself.
exactly.
Get your shoes on and
And
hit
let's
the
play.
court. You know?
And when we do play, by the way, last time we played together was 7 games undefeated.
7 games undefeated
And-
against some pretty good players.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we unfortunately just lost the last one just because we were tired.
We're so tired.
That last game was like 30 minutes, but overall, I think I'm doing well. I think I'm in a very fortunate and position to, not only build community, but do what I love.
Yeah.
And continue exploring and learning more about myself. So it's never a bad day where I can kind of wake up and be like, you know what, this is not it. We're blessed to wake up every single day. And sometimes, with our circumstances, no matter what it is, I always have that mentality where, get up. It's going to be a tough day sometimes, but getting through it, and thinking bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
And powering through that. And again, you get to learn more about yourself as we call this journey of life.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I this year's, I've talked about it a lot on here. It's been a really hard year for me, and just like getting up every day and just like pushing through and just having faith that like this moment will pass, and like finding the things that help me push forward, pickleball being one of those things. Like I really credit finding pickleball this year as like one of the highlights of my year and one of the things that's really like helped me push through some really difficult times. So, and you talked about doing what you love and building community, and like there's a part of me that is like almost envious in a way of what you've built and created, because I'm just like, man, you're doing the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing the thing, and what you've built is really beautiful, and the way that you build community is really beautiful. I think everybody that knows you likes you and is gravitated towards you. You're just such a positive, like, light in the world, and
I appreciate that.
You've quickly become one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
So I was really excited to get you here on the podcast. So let's get into a little bit about Mohammad.
Yeah.
You are not from here.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
I was originally born in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And then moved to the United States, more specifically to Houston, when I was 9 years old.
What year was that?
That was post 9/11, so I think that was 2003 or 4?
2003 or 4.
Yeah.
So post 9/11. So not a very easy time to move here, being from the Middle East.
No, not at all. I mean, and again, we kind of moved here with my mom and sister. My dad was already in Houston. And, again, we didn't speak English, didn't really understand the American culture, etiquette. We grew up in Saudi, right?
Yeah.
So me, my mom, and my sister, we were all speaking Arabic, right? So you can only imagine kind of like what the school system was like, the culture shock that I was in. And I'm like just a 9-year-old kid. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, that had to be really, really life-changing.
Yeah, you learn a lot quickly.
Yeah.
I think, and especially seeing it from like the outside in, right? So a lot of people were so used to certain things. For example, like we as Muslims, pork is haram or forbidden, right? So the whole concept of like I couldn't eat certain things did not exist in the Middle East for me in Saudi, right? You can just go anywhere and get
because they
whatever you
didn't
want.
have those things that are forbidden.
Exactly.
So you didn't have to make a choice or say, hey, does this have pork in it?
Yeah.
Like, I can't have it. And so that was completely foreign to you.
100%. So yeah, I mean, when we're at school eating lunch, I'm like, I don't know what pepperoni pizza is. I know what my pepperoni pizza version is.
You're
So
like, this pepperoni stuff's amazing.
I'm like, what is this? And then, you're like, bacon. You're like, what the heck is bacon?
Yeah.
Right. So again, as a kid, and then you're eating, gummies and all these different things, and you're not really paying attention to that, and you don't really know what
you? Yeah.
gelatin is or anything like that. So there's little nuances like that, and those are very trivial, right?
Yeah.
Like with food and everything. But then I think the most challenging part was like the language and the culture, right? And especially after 9/11. It was really hard and hostile. And sometimes it wasn't really the kids' faults, right? So that was the...
No, I mean, it wasn't really anyone's fault.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. I mean, 9/11, I was an adult. I was flying on 9/11.
Yeah.
And it was a really scary time for our country. But it created this really unnecessary backlash to anyone with brown skin that looked
100%.
Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
Even Indian people were like, targeted because our country is very ignorant to other cultures.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think very many people would argue that.
Yeah.
And especially in Texas, like it's not, Houston's pretty ethnically diverse.
100%.
But the majority of Texas, and I grew up here, we didn't have a real understanding of other cultures. And like, there was this blanket statement of like, everyone from the Middle East is like dangerous and part of Al Qaeda. And like, it was just really ignorant stuff, and I knew and was aware of how negatively that impacted the Middle Eastern community and people with brown skin. But I really my heart goes out to you as a small child having to navigate that. And it's like having, you're so innocent. You're so innocent and you're so young and you're carrying this burden that an entire country is like angry at your region of the world, and that had to be really
it was definitely challenging, right? I think like at the time, Islamophobia was at an all-time high and it continued to increase post that. Right. And I think the biggest thing was, again, like for me being in that in a public school system, right? You're always confused as a kid. You're like, wait, why does someone I want to play with this kid, right?
Yeah.
And I can't play with them because they hate me. And I think that was the most challenging part. It's like as a kid, you're like, oh, I just want to play. I just want to make friends. But even teachers sometimes treated you differently because you were different, right? So you're always like wondering, you're like, what is this whole... And it didn't make sense until I was, I think my freshman year of high school, right? So you can only imagine I was in like elementary school up until high school. Then that finally clicked, right? Of like, wait, I shouldn't have to carry this burden. I shouldn't have to accept that, you know, I'm different, or because of my religion or skin color or my appearance, right? That I should be identified as like an outlier or an outcast, and I can't achieve to X, Y, or Z because of these reasons, right? And I think that's the part that once it clicked, I was like, these kids, it's not really their faults, right? And I know people are like, hey, you shouldn't live like that and all this stuff. But I think the biggest thing is when you learn about my biggest thing, and that's how my mom raised my sister and I, was, hey, you know, there's a whole world out there. It's, you know, your duty and responsibility to also understand other people's point of views, because sometimes you're not right all the time, right? Everyone's entitled to their beliefs. Everyone's entitled to their own cultures and religions and all these beautiful things that, you know, that's what the world is made up of, right? But it came from that ignorance, right? And the parents were projecting that onto the kids. Because at the end of the day, a kid is just a soundboard of their environment, right? So when their environment is based around like hate and ignorance and just misunderstanding, then, you know, it's a whole completely different world. I remember in elementary school, Miss Rasmondi, she was the school counselor, the sweetest lady. Sometimes I'd go have lunch with her because I'm like, hey, no one wants to have lunch with me.
No one would have lunch with you. Oh,
yeah.
So sad.
And like now that I look back at it, I'm like, it made me the person I am today. And there's a reason why I have so much passion and compassion for not only community, but for people, bringing people together.
Yeah.
Right. I think everything shapes you for who you are today. But again, it's also how you take that approach, right? You take that road. Do you use that to fuel you and become angry and resentful towards the world? Or do you like, hey, I can be the change?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure for you, like, you know, that was a really scary time. I mean, you were flying and you're like, what is going on? But it's like, do you use that and to fuel hate, or like, you know, or do you learn about these misrepresented people and the things that, you know, the news is saying and people are believing, just blindsided.
Yeah.
And then, or like, hey, I want to actually get to know who these real people are. Because at the end of the day, it's like a lot of times religion is not the issue. It's how people use religion.
Yeah.
Right. So if they're using it in a divisive way, in a controlling way, then it causes a lot of confusion and hate. And that's where I think, you know, people struggle with that sometimes, because, you know, you're trying to figure out your identity, you're trying to fit in, right, into like a society, into a culture.
Yeah, it's I love everything that you just said. I mean, that being the change that you want to see in the world and putting yourself in the shoes of other people. It's something that I learned not long after 9/11, because when I was flying on 9/11, I was moving from a small town in Texas to Los Angeles. And so I, you know, literally moved to Los Angeles on September 11th.
Which is insane.
And my plane was grounded, and we were the first flights to be lifted to be able to fly after the flying ban.
Yeah.
So all the planes flights that didn't get off the ground that day were the first to be allowed to fly.
Yeah.
So like my introduction to moving from Texas to Los Angeles was I'm the first one flying after the planes hit.
Oh my God.
And it was super scary.
Yeah.
And there was this moment that I'll share with you. I remember I was sitting next to a guy, and there was a Middle Eastern person on the plane 2 rows up. And the guy looked over at me, the guy that was sitting next to me, and he said, "Hey, if that motherfucker does anything, me and you are going to get up and we're going to take him out."
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, that person's probably not a bad well, that's just a person with brown skin, you know, like, but it was like, that was the feeling at the time, you know, and it really bothered me. And moving to Los Angeles was a big like cultural explosion for me because I grew up in West Texas and like there was no culture there, like, and so I got introduced to so many different religions and ethnic backgrounds and cultures and foods and just like, and it really made me open my eyes in a way that was not possible where I grew up, to a world and being empathetic to other people and being interested in other cultures and religions and seeing that we're this all made up of the same things, and we all want the same things, and we all just want to love and be loved and do what makes us feel happy and believe what we believe in, and like there is no difference.
No,
there is
not.
no difference between us.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of, you hit the nail on the head, right? Like there is no difference, but sometimes these quote unquote differences are so divisive so that people can control certain narratives or certain things, because I've had some of my most beautiful conversations with people I should not have talked to, right? Or vice versa. I went to school at A&M, and we'll get into that later, but predominantly it was a very Caucasian, very conservative, very Christian public school, public university. And some of the times that one of the comments were like, hey, you are the first Muslim person that I've ever talked to in my life. Yeah. Right. But again, if you want to be the change you want to see in the world, it's like, how do you lead that? Right. How you lead it, in my opinion, is not only do you have to understand more about who you are, where you come from, and what you represent, but also the people that are around you, right? I think it goes both ways. You can't just know everything about you and just run through the world and be like, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, and everyone else, you're wrong, right? It's really just as important to learn about your neighbors, right? By understanding who they are, and then you can relate to them, right? You open up the conversation. And that's not to say that I can have a conversation with someone and my expectation is like, hey, you're going to walk away with this, and I'm going to change your mind. I think going into it with no expectation, right? It's up to them to decide what they walk away with. But the fact that they're having that conversation, because that one split second, right, can change someone's whole life, right? For you, it was on that plane, right? Do you choose to accept that hatred and that guy was just scared, right? And he was acting on that fear? Or do you actually, let me think about this for one split second, because that split second changes your whole trajectory on you being open and accepting. And again, you don't have to agree with everything people say, do, or believe, but it's more so just being open to that.
No, I agree 100%. And like we all create these like, conceptions of other people or biases or whatever. We do it subconsciously, not on purpose. Like, every time that I've created a story about somebody in my head that I haven't met before, it's always shattered when I meet them. Yeah. Always. If I actually sit down and talk to them. And like, maybe I still won't like them, but like I will see a common thread between the two of us that is like, oh yeah, it's just a person. It's just a person going through life doing their best. Yeah. And they're struggling and they're not doing a great job. Yeah. But they're doing the best job that they know how to do. 100%. And that's all we're trying to do.
And I tell a lot of my friends this. I'm like, we all go through the same things, but just different frequencies. We've all been through heartbreaks. We've all been through happiness, sadness, times where people let us down, times where we let people down, right? It's just different frequencies of it. And yeah, it's up to you. You're in control of what you do. You can't be in control of the world around you, right? But again, it's if you are a driving force of like, hey, I want to see good in the world, I think it's like one thing to talk about it, right? But it's another thing to actually implement it, right? Because again, when someone approaches me now and just simply does not know about my culture, religion, who I am as a person, I'm not going to get frustrated about that. If anything, I encourage questions because now I get to break that stereotype, right? And I learned that, again, from a very young age because it was very frustrating. I didn't know how to communicate in English properly, right? Because like I just knew how to say it in Arabic, didn't know how to say it in English. So it was very, very frustrating.
And that's super isolating.
Yeah, and there were times that I'm like, I would tell my mom, I'm like, why are we here? Like, can we please go back? Like, this is not fun. This is not ideal, right? And I think that's where, again, like time after time, and that's kind of what taught me again. It's like, wake up, today's a new day,
Yeah.
right? Yes, you can acknowledge what happened, right? I'm not saying forget about it and act like everything is perfect and rainbows, sunshines and rainbows, right? And I think that's another misconception, right? No, acknowledge, like, feel, have that feeling, right? Sit in that feeling and understand what happened,
Yeah.
right? But again, you were blessed and you got to wake up today, right? So now what do you do with that day? Do you just sit and dwell on it and just be like, oh man, yesterday? And we do that a lot of times, and I'm 100% same.
Very human thing. But the best versions of ourselves will wash away yesterday and say today's a brand new day.
Exactly.
Like, and this might be the last one that I get.
Exactly.
You know, like we don't know. So like, let's make this day count, and let's not carry the bullshit from yesterday into it. You know, and keep tainting today and tomorrow with all of this negative stuff. Like let's step into this new day like it's a new day.
Yeah. And that's where I think, like I said, Miss Rosmandi, like she really taught me that, right? Like when we went in, she was always smiling, right? I think she was, if I'm not mistaken, she was like in her 60s, I think, at the time, right? So all I saw was just like, oh my God, this person is always smiling no matter what I tell her.
Yeah.
Right? She has toys for me. She has this. Of course, then I started making new friends, and then she brought in someone else, which he was going through the same thing, and then we started, bonding. And I was like, wow, like he's my friend, I'm his friend, right? And you slowly start breaking the curse because at the time I didn't know it, right? But you're showing up for yourself, right? You're like, you know what? Yes, yesterday was a challenging day, but today is going to be a different day. Or I'm looking forward to this one little thing. And I think that's another thing we don't celebrate enough is those little wins or those little things in life, right? Where we're like, oh, I'm going to play, instead of going to recess, I know Mr. Rosmani has my favorite like Spider-Man figurine in her office. So I'm going to go play. Yeah. I'm going to go play with now a new kid that I'm going to meet.
Yeah,
right?
You got to look for those little things, man. And like, it's funny, like to bring it back to what we were talking about earlier, like pickleball has been one of those things for me. Yeah. It's like what I look forward to every week. Yeah. And I've had some really bad weeks, and I'm just like, all right, well, at least I have pickleball today. Yeah. Like I'm going to enjoy that. Yeah. And so I love what you're saying about all of that. I think, I was just living in Mexico and Argentina for a couple of years, and the language thing was the most isolating thing for me. And I worked really hard to learn Spanish. I was taking lessons and doing things for years, and I felt so isolated. Like when I would be with 100% Spanish speakers that didn't know English, I'm just like, fuck, dude. Yeah. Like I speak like a toddler in Spanish.
Compared to them, yeah.
Yeah, and I want to be funny, and I want to ask serious questions, and I want to have real conversation, and I can't. Yeah. And I'm sure as a child that feeling was really, really difficult.
No, 100%. And I think that's when you can't express yourself, right? And no matter what language or form, right? I think for humans, that's really, really difficult because there are times I've been to Argentina and I've been to a lot of places around the world, and we can get into that. But when you're there and you want to understand and immerse yourself in the culture and talk the language, and like you said, I love laughing, right? And I think we're similar into that. Like we'll crack jokes here and there. Like it's making things lighthearted, but you can't, when you take out these like essential, I'd like to say like essential emotions out of being human, you're kind of like lost. You're like, wait, how can I communicate this, or how can I get this? And you start getting creative, right? You're like, how can I show them? Maybe I can act it out. But if I act it out, is that going to be offensive? Is it not? It's all these things. But I think, again, that's those little beautiful moments of life that kind of like really open up your eyes of like, wow, there's like a whole world, there's a whole bunch of people out there.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like that you also not only learn about the world and life and other people, but I think most importantly, you also learn more about yourself.
Totally.
Right. Those little insecurities, those little self-doubt, that little inner child that you have inside of you, right? Like, how do you combine all those things and then express that to someone who probably doesn't understand
Yeah.
you?
It's super difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you get it right, that's what life's all about to me. Like that connecting, laughter, communication, deep conversations, like that. That's where the heart of this life really is.
Yeah.
Like connection with other people.
Yeah. I mean, we're herd animals, right? Like, that's why, community, quote unquote, is being used as a buzzword nowadays as marketing.
Yeah.
Right. But when you look at the essence of humanity, we want to belong somewhere, mm-hmm. right? We want to have that feeling.
Yeah. We're tribe mentality people, and we thrive best in a tribe where there's familiarity and a common goal and objective, that brings us all together. I mean, that's hardwired in our DNA, as hunter gatherers and all of that stuff. And so, when we don't have that, and there's a lot of isolation in our society right now.
Especially post-COVID.
Yeah, especially post-COVID and Zoom meetings and people not leaving their houses. And it hurts us on a cellular level.
Yeah.
Because we feel so disconnected. And that's why community is such a buzzword right now, because everybody is craving it.
Yeah.
Everybody is just like needing to belong and to be with others more than ever, mm-hmm. because we've been starved of it. And we've been starving ourselves of it. We're our own worst enemies when it's come to this.
Yeah, especially I think with, we definitely are especially with the rapid development of like AI. I'm going to use this buzzword, don't hate me, but AI, right? Like technology, AI. So I think community is essential to our next iteration of like who we are as people, and it's how we connect, it's how we come together, and now more than ever it's going to be vital to bringing us and learning more about yourself.
Yeah, that's a great point. We need it more than ever, and we're going to dive into how you are creating that community in a minute. But first, I wanted to talk to you about Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Because you told me that Boy Scouts was something that helped you a lot when you were a child.
Yeah.
And like feel like you were a part of something. So tell me about that.
Yeah. So I started off in a Cub Scout troop. I know there's a lot of stigma around like Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. Mm-hmm. And when you're going from your Cub Scout to Boy Scout troop, you get to go tour like we did. You get to go see some Boy Scout troops in the area and you get to pick, which is kind of weird.
I didn't get to do that. I was just given one.
I guess in West Texas, there wasn't really many options out there.
There were a couple troops, but like my uncle was a scoutmaster in one of the troops. So they were my dad was like, you're going to go.
This is your path. This is your arrow.
Your cousins are in this and you're going to go do this. So I didn't want to do it. I was very anti everything organized and groups. I was very much a loner.
No, it's definitely, it's an acquired taste, I would say. So when I went to go look at other troops, there were some interesting troops. I think the way they were ran was that's the stigma around Boy Scouts. Like, hey, the Scoutmaster, which Scoutmaster is the person who runs the adult that runs the whole troop. He was very like, this is how I want to do it. This is all the kids.
It's authoritarian. Some can be really strict. Some can be really
lenient,
laissez-faire, and
it's funny. I think I toured 3 troops, and there were 3 on all like different sides of the spectrum. Right? There was like the one side was that guy who's authoritarian. This is how we're going to run it. We're super strict. You have to get this. You have to do that. And I'm like, this feels like a work camp. Like this is not even like fun. You're a kid, And then I saw the complete other side of the spectrum where, show up, like have fun. There's like no structure. And it was just kind of like kids didn't really.
That was too lenient for you?
Yeah, because like when the kids there, like you get to spend the night, like the Monday night meeting or whatever, but they're just like, the kids are just there. Like it's because their parents are kind of making them. The parents that are involved are just kind of there. And then our troop, shout out Troop 747.
Troop 175.
Oh, see, this is cool. Yeah. This is cool. It was really structured, but it wasn't structured at the same time. Because the way the Scoutmaster ran it, Mr. Henderson, he was like a big PM at Oceaneering, right? So he was like, hey, we have structure from the adult side, right? But from the kids side, it's up to you to decide, right? Where you want to go for summer camps, what do you want to plan out? And we would sit before the end of year to plan out the next year. So as a kid, you're like, what do you mean I have to plan out my next year? I just want to play Call of Duty with friends. I just want to go outside and ride my bike. Like, why do I have to plan?
Well, it's one of the cool things about Boy Scouts is like it instills discipline in you.
Yeah.
And I mean, it instills a lot of things in you, but discipline was one of the things that I got out of it for sure.
No, it's discipline, and you get to see like what your first experience as like an org, and coming in from the bottom of being just like a normal Boy Scout, and then working your way, if you choose that path, right? Working your way up to being your, you know, your little pack leader, then you can be scout leader, and then you could be like the whole troop leader. Yeah. Right. So you're like, okay, if I want to take that path, I can. If I want to aspire to like, you know, just being my group leader, I can. If I want to be an assistant group, like
it teaches you so many social skills that are applicable to work and life and career, and it's really great. You went pretty far, didn't you?
Yeah, I made Eagle Scout.
You were Eagle Scout. Yeah.
So
that's super hard to do.
Yeah, I made it 3 minutes before I turned 18. So it was a great. It was
nice.
I think I set a record unofficially.
Yeah.
Because they were like, you were the
the closest to the cutoff ever.
To the cutoff that we've ever seen. Wow. But again, there might be someone else who's beat me. Yeah. I don't wish that upon anyone. Yeah. It was very stressful. But, you know, we did it, right? But yeah, I think Boy Scouts was really integral because it taught me more about who I was and my value, and to believe in myself. Yeah. So I think with Boy Scouts, it really gave me a really good stability, right? I was seeing the same people every single week. We were planning towards something. It gave me stuff to look forward to. Yeah. It could really teach you a lot of things, about yourself, but also life skills. I mean, all the merit badges that I've done, the first aid, camping, survival, navigation.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, it really builds so much self-esteem, because there were so many things I remember before getting merit badges of just being like, that doesn't seem possible. Like, how am I supposed to, you know, figure that out, you know? And it's like, oh, well, there's a process. And if you just sit down and follow the process, then at the end of the thing, you're going to have the result.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it was one of the first things that really taught me that. And like, yeah, I remember, you know, building shelters on camping trips, and like building fires and rope and knots, and like all of the first aid and all of these things where it's like, oh, wow, this is like really cool, applicable stuff that is making me a better, more rounded human being.
Yeah, and you didn't even think you were capable of it. I think that's the coolest thing, right? It's like
those are really, really valuable skills for life.
Now, when you're at the camping trip, every little boy's dream, right? Growing up, and you're like, you know, you're playing video games and all this stuff. You're like, I could survive the world. You know, I'm unstoppable. I've watched some cool shows. Like, I watch, what is it? Gary, what's that show?
Bear Grylls.
Yeah, Bear Grylls. Yeah. You watch him on TV, and you're like, oh, I could do what he does. He's eating a cockroach. You know,
no problem.
Yeah, that's no problem. I can go do that. But then when it's like 40 degrees outside, it's raining, it's miserable, and you don't have the right shoes and socks on, your socks are wet. You're like, man, I really want to be at home right now in a warm bed, right? Yeah. Like, how did I get in this position? And you're like, well, I'm 30 miles away from, you know, when we went on this is actually like, went on a backpacking trip, and you're like, okay, well, I'm like 20, 30 miles away. You're that far from the car. You're like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Yeah. I got
I
here.
just have to persevere.
Yeah. So
and
you're
figure it out.
yeah, I have to set up my tent in the dark. I have to do all these things. And again, that's like something when you're pushing yourself, you don't think you're capable of it. And then you achieve it. And then you're coming back on Sunday and you're like, wow, I just literally did that for a whole weekend.
Yeah.
Like I made core memories with some of my best friends. I did things that I would have never imagined that I could do. And on the way home, I get to stop at Whataburger with the whole troop and get a triple meat, triple cheese.
Yeah, there you go.
And you know, call it a day because I achieved
You earned it. You earned it.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, Boy Scouts is huge. I definitely wasn't an Eagle Scout, and like I definitely went into it under duress.
Yeah.
Like against my will, but I learned so much that I still credit to this day about like how I learned to operate in the world and just like be self-reliant and confident in my skills. And you know, I've done a lot in nature and it was a game changer for me. Like I was a really bad kid growing up, and it was one of the things that really stabilized me a little bit and kept me on track. Because I was horrible in school. I was like,
hey, it's okay. We all were. It wasn't just you.
No, I was bad. I was kicked out of like 4 schools. Oh. Like it was bad.
In West Texas.
Yeah.
How many schools were there?
Well, that's there's not that many. So I actually like the last school that I had to go to because I'd been kicked out of all of the others was like this tiny little like 2 mobile homes out in the middle of the country it was primarily a school for kids with mental disabilities. And then there was like a little portable out and back with me and 2 other kids where we were like the 3 kids in town where they couldn't find anywhere else to put us. It was really messed up.
Living a Hollywood movie. Like this is what, when you go abroad and movies are made about this, this is exactly like you're like the rebel kid.
Yeah. That's what I was. Yeah.
And I mean, we'll probably get into this a little bit later, but you've had a rock star life. You've done a lot of cool things. So it's like,
I've done some shit. Yeah. But yeah, I was a terror growing up in my town.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's any consolation from one Eagle Scout, it's like, you know how they used to knight you back in the day? I want to knight you and make you an official Eagle Scout.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
My dad would be stoked.
Yeah. I'll give you the pen, share it. Oh, shoot. I'll even buy you one.
Nice. Let's do it.
You'll become an official Eagle Scout.
We can have a ceremony.
Yeah. Boy Scouts of America, please do not take my Eagle Scout away because I'm doing this.
It's fine if you do, as long as I get the Eagle Scout. It's a good trade-off.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. Thanks for sharing that. So let's get into community because, you know, like did the early feeling of not belonging, is that what really sparked your desire to build community now?
Yes. I mean, I think I never knew that, you know, because again, it was a lot of trials and tribulations, just like growing up here, right? From early on, elementary school, middle school, high school, you know, when I graduated high school, again, because it was really university, like going to college was really an expensive thing. I saw a lot of my friends getting accepted to all these universities and they're going abroad. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to go to like community college. Like that's what I can afford. Right. Yeah. And then getting accepted into A&M and putting myself through school. I mean, that taught me a whole bunch of things. Right. But throughout all those experiences, it was always like, I was always building community. I guess I didn't realize it. You know, you're like organizing this, or you're like, hey, we live in a townhouse. Let's throw a game day party. They're like, Mohammad, but who's going to do that? I'm like, I will do it. Right. I want to get 30 or 40 of my best friends in here.
Which you got those skills from Boy Scouts.
Exactly. Because it was
organizing, planning, putting the things together,
100%.
Getting a
here's
budget.
Our budget. Yeah. And I'm like, here's our grocery list, right? Because in our troop, we were like, hey, someone each month, whenever we go camping, has to go buy the groceries. Yeah. And you have a budget. And then the troop reimburses you. So if you go over the budget, you're responsible for it. So you can't go in and just buy all the premium stuff. right?
Yeah.
Can't get the Kerrygold. You have to go get the
standard thing. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
use that when you were buying beer.
Hey, I did not drink, so I did not buy any alcohol.
Yeah.
It was more so snacks. Like my parties were like fun parties.
You still don't drink?
I still don't drink.
You don't
Never drink ever in my life.
Is that because of your religion?
Yeah, it's because of my religion. It started off as that way, and then as I was going through life and college, I realized I'm like, I don't really need alcohol to experience life, right? You know, we hear a lot of these things where we're always
you did drink some in college?
No, never drank.
Never. Okay, so
I've never tasted alcohol.
Tasted alcohol. Wow,
never tasted
that's
alcohol.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sober, long-term sober.
Oh, congrats.
Tomorrow's 14 years, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's honestly amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
But I drank a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in West Texas, like there's not.
Yeah, there's nothing else.
There's not much to do.
Yeah.
For me, like putting together budgets was more so, again, I did it in Boy Scouts. I was like, hey, we're going to have a fun party. Like we're going to go watch the game. Like anytime A&M was playing away, I'm like, why not have a fun party with queso and guac and, you know, we're all hanging out. And then it started off as a small gathering. And then halfway through the season, like football season, our like house watch game parties or game parties would have like 50, 60, 70. I mean, at one time, and again, this is a townhouse where, you know, just their living room and kitchen.
Like your house was known, it's starting to become known as like, these are the best parties. These are the best watch parties.
Yes. Yeah. And it's parties. And then they turned into like fun parties. And it was not just like belligerent, like everyone's like blacked out in college whether you've experienced college or not.
Yeah,
here
that's
in the
part
US.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was more so like, hey, we got to know everyone and everyone's talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows each other. Even if you didn't know anyone coming into there, you will leave with knowing someone.
Yeah.
Right. Because like I made sure like, hey, people are meeting. My friends also made sure people are meeting.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not going to quote this, but a lot of people found their relationships at our parties.
You're a great connector, man.
Yeah.
Like you really are. Like I've seen you in a crowded room, and like like I mentioned it earlier, like you're just a positive light, and like everybody that I know that knows you like lights up when they see you.
Yeah, no,
myself included.
Yeah,
it's like Mo, you know, like what's up, man? It's infectious, and I think it's part of why you've been able to build the community that you have here. Let's get into pickleball. So I got into pickleball in like 6-7 months ago.
Yeah.
Because I had a head injury. I'm a hockey player. I couldn't play hockey anymore, and I was like dying to do something physical and competitive. And I thought that pickleball was lame as fuck. I was like, pickleball, like people keep talking about it's the fastest growing sport. I was just like, no way, dude, no way. But I was like, what can I play where I'm not going to hit my head and possibly get another concussion, you know? And so I was like, well, I'll give pickleball a shot. And I stumbled onto you guys thanks to Google. Shout out, Google, small business.
Yeah.
We support small businesses here.
Hey, we're on that. We're in that small business pilot program through Google.
I'm talking about the small business Google.
Oh, okay.
We're trying to grow them.
Yeah.
We're trying to get them some listeners.
Some kudos, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should maybe think about sponsoring this podcast as well. Now sponsor number 2, small Google.
Yeah. But yeah, and I met you like maybe 2 or 3 times after going in, and I was just like, dude, this guy's awesome. And then I got super into going, and then you guys asked me to be a host, and like now I'm part of the team, and like, yeah, it's been so cool. And I don't know, it's like exactly what I needed at a time in my life where I really needed it. And how did you get into pickleball in the first place?
I think it's very similar to you. Growing up, I played basketball, and that was a lot of fun until I fractured my ankle in high school. Yeah. And that kind of, I'm like, you know, again, when you're young, you're like, I can run through 10 brick walls. I was out for 7 months.
You should be a basketball player. For those that don't know, Mo's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah. 6'5" on the official resume. You know, if I played in the NBA, I would lie a little bit and say I'm like 6'9", but
he's towers over everyone. He's a giant man.
Slightly above average. Wow. So
from
humble brag.
Short guy like me, you're a giant.
But so I grew up playing basketball. in college, I played it for fun. Once upon a time, tried out for the Olympics on accident. And that was like truly like my true like competitive, like full on, like, hey, this is what I'm capable of and achieving. COVID hit, that whole thing happened. And then I tried getting back into basketball. Every time I would play, I'd always hurt myself. And I'm like, this is like, I just can't keep doing this to myself because longevity now, when I was younger, it was like whatever, but now I have to really focus on like longevity. I have to focus on like connecting with others. And when I moved to Austin now about like 3.5, 4 years ago, I think now, it was really hard to find like a cool community or sport to be a part of. I tried kickball. That was fun.
I tried that too.
Yeah. And it was,
I met some really good people and like was really in with them, but it was a big drinking thing.
I 100% agree with you. Like I wasn't really into the run clubs. Like I'm not really a runner. Like I love sprint drills. Like I'll do those all day.
Yeah,
but
I can
I'm
do
just
sprints,
like,
but I don't like long distance
yeah,
running. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, and a lot of this activities here were centered around drinking. And again, I don't really drink at all, so it was really hard to kind of like fit in. And I tried different sports, right? Like, but I just never found it. And then until one day like, at my old company, one of my coworkers was like, "Hey, you should come play pickleball." I'm like, everyone's talking about it. Again, it was the same thing with you. I'm like,
lame.
It's like lame. Like I want to play tennis.
Yeah.
I know all the tennis people right now are like cheering.
Well, I think of pickleball, and I think immediately old people.
Yes. Yeah, it was like old people. And then I'm like, growing up, I hated ping pong.
Which, shout out to old people. You're good. We love you.
Yeah, please. Like, you're amazing. I want to learn so much from you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then growing up, I hated ping pong because it was like this stupid little quick game that I'm like, dude, just put a basketball in my hand. I got you. But yeah, so it was like all these things. I was like, you know what? Let me go try it again. Put myself into something new. Played the first time, hated it. I'm like, this is a stupid game because I'm like, hey, I'm athletic. And he's just standing there. He's just like keeps hitting the ball and I keep lobbing it up to him. And they keep winning the point. And I don't understand the rules, like the switching, the score. I'm like, this is so confusing, complicated, and annoying. Like, why do people dedicate time? So didn't play. I played once and I was like, this is dumb.
This is dumb, yeah.
Not going to do it again. Until a few months later, I gave it another shot. And this was, I think, early on 2024. So I was like, you know what, let me give it a shot. And then that's where it started getting really fun, right? Because really started building community around it. And when I started playing pickleball, Capital City Pickleball was not on my mind. It wasn't like, hey, I want to own courts and I want to build the largest community and I want to work with cool brands and blah, 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 and all this stuff. It was just like, hey, this is something to do after work, you know, at my old job, because I had like an engineering job. And it was a great time, right? And it slowly started progressing because I started seeing the same people, right? And it gave me like really cool feeling of like, oh my God, this is like we're back in college again, right? When you used to pull up to the intramural field or go to the rec center and you're seeing the same people and we're talking and we're laughing and sometimes we're not even playing. And we started off playing at Pan Am. If anyone that doesn't know that, it's Pan American on the east side of Austin. And if you've never been there, sometimes the queues get so long that you're waiting. Every game, you're waiting probably like 45 minutes to an hour.
That's crazy.
Until you play one game, right? But that didn't matter, right? Because we were just there in a circle, laughing, having fun.
Yeah,
talking and connecting, and people just kept joining our circle. And that's really the genesis of why I got into pickleball.
So yeah, that's how you got into pickleball.
Yeah.
And so you're into pickleball, and then you decide, well, how do you make that decision that I'm going to start my own league? I'm going to own courts? Like, that's a big jump.
Yeah, it was. I got on a court, I remember one game, and it was a cardiologist, a mechanic, a business dev person, and then myself, which I was an industrial engineer. But in that moment, I'm like, nowhere on earth I've played a lot of sports. I've tried out for the Olympic team, and there's nowhere where I would have met these four people in one room, let alone play or do a physical activity with. We're laughing during the game. We're talking. And I was like, this is like really, really special. And I look over and there's like a group of us just like the integral group. I'm like, this is really beautiful to see.
Mm-hmm.
So I started thinking about, I'm like, hey, it'd be really cool to just brand something. You know, I was getting into my creative kind of, I've always been a creative. I've had startups in the past. I'm like, let me brand something, but again, no expectation. Just kind of like, I just want to hang out with fun people and cool people like this and do it for fun. Because again, I used to do dinners when I first moved here to get to know people, little private things. I used to go to like help other people organize things, but I'm like, this would be really cool just to like play pickleball every Tuesday night or something on a weekly basis. So I turned around to my group of friends and I was like, hey, I'm going to host a tournament. And they looked at me, they're like, Mohammad, you just started playing pickleball. You know nothing about pickleball. You can't even keep the score, let alone like organize a tournament. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. And the only person that believed me at the time was my ex-girlfriend. She was like, you know what, you can do it, right? So we, you know, did it, or like went in, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it, right? So went in and I was planning and figuring out what I'm gonna do. Waterloo at the time, if people don't know, it's in downtown. Fifth and Pressler was just about to open up. And I was like, okay, well, that would be a really cool place to host it. Let me go pitch them. At the time, I think our WhatsApp group when I started it had like around like 70 people, maybe. I'm pretty sure it was like around 40, but I think it's around 70. I was like, hey, we're going to have 100 people here. And then Jeremy was like, all right, cool. Like if you want it, you can have it. You can actually help us launch the facility. I'm like, great. I'm like, okay, now I need sponsors. Again, it's going back to like organizing, right?
Yeah,
but I'm like, I want to do
back
this
to
at
your
like
Eagle Scout roots.
Yeah, and I'm like, I want to like scale it, right? So I'm like, let me go to sponsors. Again, my mentality is like the worst that someone's going to tell me is no. So I literally went to all these local Austin businesses and was like, hey, I'm hosting this huge 100-person tournament. Would love for you to sponsor it or like donate or whatever, right? I think in one day I went to like 35 businesses and lots of rejections, but that didn't stop me.
Yeah.
And the two that said yes were Proud Mary Coffee and Torchy's. Put that together, you know, it was a lot of work. I promised everyone 100 people. So I'm like, how do I get now? Yeah. How do I convince 100 people to sign up and pay for something that they don't even know who I am? Yeah. They don't know what pickleball is, but we did it, right? We put together, it was a lot of work. It was between our whole community, right? Could not have done it without everyone's help. And over 100 people showed up to open up this brand new pickleball facility. And Torchy's, I had a lot of tacos from Torchy's. Nolan, shout out Nolan. He's been supporting us from day one. Proud Mary Coffee. Yeah. Love that guy and love the team behind Proud Mary. So if you haven't been to Proud Mary, please check them out.
Yeah, check out Proud Mary for sure. And our friends at Torchy's.
Yeah, and our friends at Torchy's.
Yeah.
And over 100 people showed up. People were laughing, playing, and having fun. And I did.
So you're brand new at pickleball. You decide to throw a tournament. You have this massively successful tournament.
100-person tournament.
With one of the largest Austin-based companies as one of your first sponsors.
Yeah.
Torchy's, which is a global brand now.
Yes.
And
even Proud Mary, I mean, they're global as well, too.
Yeah.
So.
And Proud Mary. And so, like, you get these two epic sponsors. It's a smashing success. And so then you're like, okay, I'm going to start my own thing.
Yeah, but no. Because it was just like, that was really cool, right? And then I'm like, okay, let me start hosting something once a week. But then life hits, right? I'm like, I got a new job. So I was like, well, I just did this cool thing that's bringing a lot of people. And we started hosting weekly events, right? But then on top of that, now I have a new gig. So I have to start traveling a lot now for it because I want to, but I also want to do this too. The thing that was like staying consistent when I got back, because I had no consistency in my life, was the community. So it was like my creative and passion project. Yeah. Right. I was like,
That's what kept you grounded.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to fund it. I'm going to do whatever it takes to continue building this. And again, at that time our first tournament, I believe, was in April of 2024. Right. And that's like the start of Capital City Pickleball. It wasn't until like October almost of 2024 that I was like, wow, like our community has really taken off, right? Like we're renting courts now, we have paid events. We went from a free event community to now starting to integrate paid events. And, that's a whole strategy in itself. A lot of times communities die that way, right? Because you're putting up a paywall and you're like, hey, now I have to start charging for events. And that kind of feels bad because you're like, I want to continue building community, but then how do you build a quality community? What does that even mean? Like, how can we continue playing with our friends? But then when we do a paid event, because we're renting, like, I'm like, hey, I'm going to pay for a court time.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's not free. So you gotta charge. And then
yeah. And you're like, you feel awkward. It's like, hey, Taylor, do you want to come to our open play?
Yeah.
And I have to now charge you $15.
Yeah.
Which in the grand scheme of things of pickleball, like, it's still really cheap. Like my biggest thing was accessibility, right? Because
no, it's one of the biggest things that I like about Cap City is like you could charge more for everything that you're doing.
100%.
And you always like your prices are like the best in town.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you should charge more. And you're like, no.
Yeah.
Like I want people to be able to come, and I want people to want to come, and I want people to want to be able to come multiple times a week. And like, I think that lends to the way that the community's grown.
Yeah.
And you've fostered it by making it accessible and not making it a money grab, you know, and pricing people out.
That to me really kept it integral because I was like, I know what it felt like growing up not having a dollar, or I wanted to do this experience, but I just couldn't afford it. But I was like, I can't put a price on someone's like happiness and connection and belonging.
Belonging, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Can I price it effectively? Absolutely. Especially when we get to control our costs because we own the facilities, and have 3 courts that we're going to call home.
Yeah.
I was just like, it's like a far off idea. Let's just focus on like our 3 events that we're hosting now, or 4 events we were hosting per week, which is an insane amount at the time still, but I didn't recognize that we were doing this, right? It was just like more so, hey, I want to keep playing with more people. How can I continue growing this beautiful community? And that's where I think for me, accessibility was like number 1. I'm like, I want to come in and I want to make sure that people are taken care of, but also lower the costs. I'm like, sometimes things are unnecessarily expensive. I'm like, why? Right? So that for me was like the whole genesis of like Cap City and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And then the whole facility thing was just like a completely different.
That's just a byproduct of it. Just right place, right time.
100%.
Opportunity presented itself, and you're like, let's do it. Let's take the leap.
It was one of the biggest risks of my life that I've taken because I'm like, again, I'm traveling a lot for work. I have an amazing team of people around it, but it's like, how can I afford this? I mean, I can't. I have like.
Now you have real overhead.
Yeah, I have real overhead
and real commitments, and like you have to make sure it runs properly so that it works. Yeah, exactly. And it's been working.
Yeah, and my biggest thing, and again, at the end of the day, I mean, this probably better than a lot of people, is like community. I'm like, I will make it work.
Yeah.
Because what keeps me up at night is our community and like how can we continue growing and adding more amazing people to it. That's what keeps me up. And I'm like, I will find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
Because again, the worst that someone's going to tell me is no. I'm just going to learn that that's not really my path, and I'm going to find another path and go on it until we get to where we need to go.
I love that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. That's badass. And you've done just such a great job. I mean, I've already kind of like gushed over you a little bit, but like, it's a great community. It feels really good. It's something that I'm excited to be a part of, proud to be a part of. And I look forward to it every week. You've done a really great job with it. But there's also a piece where it's like, and this is probably something that you're still trying to figure out, but like when you're not there, it's different. It's like when Mo's there, the vibe is completely different. And when Mo's not there, there's an energy missing.
Yeah.
I
think that's really hard, right? Because like
you can't be there all the time.
You can't be there all the time.
You're a human being. You have other things. Like people are like, when you're not there, people are like, where the hell is Mo?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he had like a dinner. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Dinner?
What is he doing?
We're playing pickleball. Like what? Like how dare he have a life?
Yeah.
You know?
And to answer your question, it's like, how do you keep the vibe from shifting? the reason why we're all here is because we're all contributing towards it. And when I first met you, I saw that light, that passion that you were like, you know, a lot of people when they come, they're like, oh my God, this is a great event. Like, thank you so much for having me. And I'm like, yeah, like this is why I do what I do. But you were like, yo, like I really genuinely love this. Like, thank you because I really needed this. Also, if you ever need help, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, when I see that, I'm like, this is why our community is special.
Which I learned in Boy Scouts.
Exactly. See, this is what I'm saying.
Always leave something better than where you found it.
Amen to that. So that's
You
like
know
one
what I mean?
of, yeah. So I think that's where it's like, I was like, when you surround yourself with special people like that, and again, it's all about the intention that I set, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, for me, it's the most important thing is community.
Yeah.
Like nothing, like I will sometimes have like really difficult days or difficult weeks, right? Like there's so much happening. You know, I have to figure out how I have to now like maintain the 2 facility overheads, right? Like how can you make a community accessible, but then you have all this overhead, right? So it's like there's very challenging days and times of my life. And I also have to have a personal life, right? I think out of the 488 events last year, I was probably at 75% of them, if not more. Probably more, but I'm just being...
But where else would you rather be? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like you love the community and being with those people, and that is what drives you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I think about now that I'm in pickleball. Like last night, I had a thing, and normally on Friday nights I go play pickleball, and like I was like looking at like, oh man, there's so many people signed up that I want to play with, and like I'm like I want to be there playing pickleball, but I have friends in town, and I'm like, yeah, I got to do this thing, and it's just like, so it's like, yeah, you have to be at all these events, but once you start building something that you really care about, it's like, where else would I rather be?
Yeah, I tell a lot of our new members, I'm like, it doesn't matter what your skill level is, like it doesn't matter what you do for work or any of these things, right? Like what matters is you showed up for yourself, first of all, and second of all, you're here to play pickleball.
Yeah, you're here to play pickleball, have fun, and meet people.
Exactly.
That's it.
And that's the thing. It's like, you know, what we've all created, and that's why I like saying we, because it's not just me, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a we project.
Yeah.
In
it's
this
become
community.
bigger than you.
Yeah,
but you
exactly.
did create it.
Yeah.
You know, but it has become bigger than you, and will continue to get bigger than you.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's where it's like, you know, we're a very social community, right? Like, yes, do we have our own private games where we are super competitive with each other?
Hell
and
yes, we do.
Yes, we do. But at the same time, like when we're interfacing with like a larger audience, we've always tried to make it very welcoming. And that's, again, distilling it at like the very starting level and continuing keeping that pace, right? Like, again, people weed themselves out when they're like, oh, you're not competitive enough. And I'm like, I mean, that's not what we're focused on. We're focused on like being social and building community.
Yeah.
And then it's really cool to see beginner players walking into a court. They've never picked up a pickleball paddle in their life. And I'm like, hey, here's a paddle, go play. And other people teaching them. And I'm like, that is so beautiful to watch, that you're like, hey, I used to do that when we first started. And someone did that to me. Now people that I've even taught are teaching other people.
No, I was thinking about it the other day because you came to fix the lights at the rooftop, and I was like teaching. There was somebody that brand new, and I was like teaching him, and I was like, I wonder if Mo's like, oh, now Taylor's teaching.
No, I am,
people, and like yeah. So it was like, it was interesting. That thought hit me like when you were there doing that.
It's like, again, when you skip a rock in a pond, right? It's like that ripple effect. And I'm like, if you're intentional about your ripples, the effect of it continues to grow. And it was like, those are the little things that brings a smile to my face that I notice a lot of times, that I'm just like, it's like my internal documentary, right? That I'm like, it's not even about just pickleball. It's just like, that's what humanity is about, right? Like bringing people in.
100%. And I really love how you put that. Like, be intentional about your ripples.
Yeah.
You know, because everything is a ripple effect. Everything that we do and put out into the world affects other people, either negatively or positively. And so if we're intentional about how we move through the world in a positive way, like, it just spreads. And it's going to spread and like give people permission to also be kind in those moments and also be welcoming and also not get upset that somebody's new and struggling, you know, instead be like, oh, let me help them, you know, instead of being like, get off the court. Like this is, you know, we want to play real pickleball. It's like, it's one of the things that I love, man. I'm super drawn to it. And like you're right. Like it's not just you, it's become bigger than you, but you were the antithesis of it. I think that's the right word.
Yeah.
I didn't go to college, so I don't know words. But, you know, like like it started with your energy, and it's like your energy is what has driven it. And I think that is why it's successful. And I think that's why it's going to continue to be successful, because the heart and soul that you've put into it. And so on behalf of everybody
thank you.
that has played at Cap City, thank you for starting it. It's a really awesome place. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. I know you got more courts underway.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun little surprises.
Yeah. And it's been super rad playing with you and just being a part of the organization. Well, cool. We're going to hit some of our closers that we ask all of our guests.
I think before we do that, what has been your favorite moment in our community or memory?
Great question. Really great question. I think one of my favorite things has probably been like what you were talking about earlier, like when we were on that 7-game run, like some of the late night games that we get going. So like for the listeners, like there's the open play, and that usually happens like 6:30 to 9:30. And then some of us will just stay. Like Mo should go home and go have a life, but he's just like, no, we're here, we're playing pickleball, and we'll stay and play pickleball till like 1 a.m. sometimes.
A little bit later, or sometimes we'll stay until...
I don't stay past 1 a.m.
We've stayed until 6:30 a.m.
Yeah. These people they're a little crazy, but there's just like some of those times where it's like, it's 10:30 at night. I've been here for 4 hours already. I don't want to go home. Yeah. Like I'm having so much fun. These games are really competitive. I'm hanging out with people that I really enjoy hanging out with. And I just have that feeling of like, I belong here. Yeah. You know, and this is where I want to be. Yeah. And that's been my favorite thing. I really enjoyed the dinner that you hosted. It's called
Iftar on the court.
Iftar.
It was during Ramadan.
Yeah. Which was part of Ramadan. I don't say it correctly, but
no. Ramadan, or it helps having the accent,
which was really cool, and a really cool way for me to like understand your culture and your religion a little bit more, which I'm always really into now. Like we were talking about before, like really understanding other people and diversity and getting a better sense of culture. So that was really neat to be a part of. Yeah. Mo hosted a big dinner on the courts for Iftar. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I think we had like 40 people. Yeah. And it was a great time.
Yeah, it felt really great. We had like a big like Last Supper style like table with a bunch of food and and then we played pickleball after, and it was really nice. It was a really beautiful community moment.
Yeah. Very thankful to have you in our community and being more involved. It really means a lot, and continue being you. I know sometimes things are tough, but you showing up means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the community, and people really enjoy having you there.
Thanks, man.
I'm not the only light. I think you are a light as well. Like people really gravitate towards you and laugh and want to be around you. And I think that's really special, and it does not go unseen, right? And that's why I'm like, I really love just having special people around me, and specifically our team. And it's been really awesome to see our team just so diverse in so many different ways, just like coming together and laughing and supporting each other.
Thanks, man. Yeah. That means a lot to me.
Yeah. So I'm super thankful. Can't wait to see what we do I'm sure you'll come up with
Yeah.
some cool, crazy ideas.
We'll see where it goes, man. All right, let's hit some closers.
Let's do it.
All right, we talk about messy moments on this podcast. So, like, tell me about a messy moment where things kind of went off the rails for you, and like what you learned about that.
I've had so many messy moments in my life. I think my life is defined by messy moments.
I mean, that's what life is.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, I think for me, more like kind of scoping it to my most recent messy moments, right? I think it's like with Capital City Pickleball, right? You know, I had this job that I was traveling around the world for, gaining notoriety, like gaining recognition, meeting people from all different cultures and backgrounds, sitting with some of the world's like coolest like companies and startups and agencies. And then, you know, with Capital City Pickleball, like building the community around here and learning more about what that means. But internally, I just was like lost, right? Like there was no, you know, again, they always say grass is greener on the other side, but I like was not just like happy. Everything in my life was just messy. I had no consistency. It was really hard some days to like wake up and be like, why am I doing this, right? Like, why do I have all this overhead and I also have a mortgage and I have like a car payment and I have bills to pay? You know, on top of that, I'm trying to support a community, but then on top of that, I have a full-time job and then being let go from my job, right? Last year. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm like rock bottom. Like I'm now responsible for these people in this community and I'm responsible for myself. I'm responsible for my family, but I can't even show up for myself.
yeah.
Right? Like what do you do when you're like in your deepest, darkest moment of life, right? And there's other personal things that happen as well that just like kept compounding. And I think as we all know with life, it's like when those things happen, it's like a domino effect. Another thing falls, another thing falls. And I'm like, oh, well, now I have to sell my car because I can't afford my car note, right? Effect like to become like financially responsible. I'm like, I have to do this like long term. And you're having to make these small little decisions that you're like, what do I do? Why am I doing this? And then I have to show up on top of all that with a smile on my face, right? And say like, hey, Mohammad, how's your day going? It's great, right? Even though my life is like completely falling apart on the back end. But I think in those messy moments, right, especially last year, I think Capital City was like at a point where it's like, hey, do I close it down and just like, it was a cool run. It was dope that I did this and just like say goodbye, move back to Houston, move in with my family for a little bit and like figure out my life.
Yeah.
Or do I just like double down in everything that I do? And like, again, show up with all the mess that's going on, and learn how to show up for myself in a new way. And I think that for me was like one of the messiest moments of my life where it defined so much. And as I learned to go through the mess and clean it up a little bit day after day after day, I mean, the growth that Cap City went through, right, when we're talking about like professional side, was like tremendous post that. But outside of that, I'm like, personally, I learned so much about myself and what I was capable of that I didn't even know. Again, when we go back to Boy Scouts, you're like, oh man, it'd be really cool to do this. Well, now you're learning how to do it. Now you're planning how to do it. Now you actually implement it, and then you get to sit back and reflect. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is like reflecting on these moments, because sometimes I think we get caught up in life and we just like, it's the wheel.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're like, when a messy moment happens, you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm freezing up. Like everything was so perfect. I'm not going to be the same person anymore. I'm going to have to. Yeah,
I'm not going to be the same person, and nothing's ever going to be as good as it was before. And
whether you're like dating someone and you have like this car and you're like living this lifestyle. I'm going on planes. I'm eating at like, I'm in Copenhagen and then I'm in Seoul and then I'm in Tokyo. And I'm like, oh my God, like everything is so perfect. And then boom. Nothing is like that.
I can't relate to that more, man. I lost my job last year as well, and like, had so many dominoes fall. It was super tough, but I like what you said there. Like, I'll never be the same person again. And it's like, 'cause you won't.
Yeah.
You won't be the same person again. That part of you died. It's gone. It's a moment in the past. Like you're constantly becoming a new version of yourself, molecularly, spiritually, mentally, like and so nothing is permanent. And life is so secular and goes through these phases where no matter how good you are at life, like you're gonna go through some shit. Like no matter how perfect you're running your day and how much you're optimized, and like you're gonna run through some bad luck. Some really tough shit's gonna happen to you. That is inescapable. And so it's really about like how you handle those moments and how you are able to reflect on those moments and move forward, that really makes us like the human beings that we are.
100%. I mean, I think it's life's way of grounding you, right? Because like when you get caught and you're not really appreciating the moment, you're just kind of doing it to do it, and you're taking things for granted. And sometimes it's not you're intentionally taking things for granted. You just don't know, right? You're just like, you're so used to routine, especially now with like AI. You could optimize your workflow. You could get bots, and you can do X, Y, and Z, right? But I think growing up, listening to podcasts and things like that, I don't remember who said this, but it was like every 2 to 3 years you should be reinventing yourself, or things are going to happen.
Joe Rogan, probably.
Where when you think about that, and I'm not saying every 2 to 3 years, like it's like the Mayan calendar, like this is gonna happen, and it doesn't happen, and you mess up your life just because you think something's gonna happen. But when you think about that, you're like, yeah, these things are like correction courses, right? It's supposed. I started steering away from the path that I was meant to be on, but this is to kind of help, because honestly, after last year, the year that I've had, and like we've like personally I've had, and then the year that I've had with our community has been like transformational in terms of like, wow, like this is the true impact that we're driving, right? Not only for the community, but also for myself. Like I'm like, wow, like I actually feel really good, and I find my purpose in what I was supposed to be doing. Right? Yes, have I done cool jobs, and I'm an engineer and did, doing all these cool things? Yeah, absolutely. But
none of that matters today.
Yeah, but what matters is like I'm finding my purpose. Right? And it's continuously waking me up every single morning. It's driving me to do things that I never thought I would be doing. So I think that the messy parts of your life define really the path that you continue moving forward. And again, do you sit in that messiness, or do you show up for yourself? And it could be really, really hard sometimes. I'm not saying I can say it's easy now because we've done it and we went through it. But there's other things in my life that I'm like, it's really, really hard to get out of that. And that's where you have amazing friends like yourself or other people around you that help uplift you to really push you through that.
Awesome. I love it, dude.
It's been honestly awesome to be on this podcast. I can't wait.
Thank you so much, Mohammad, for doing this and taking the time. And like, I know we've talked about it a bunch. And so, it's been really great having you here. And it's been really great being a part of your community. Yeah. Can't wait. Can't wait to see what we do, and can't wait to see what are the cool guests you have planned for future episodes. Yeah. Thanks, man. And where can people find you on social media? Yeah. So I'm working on launching my personal brand. Yeah. You're hidden right now, but it's Capital City Pickleball. Capital City Pickleball. Yeah. So Capital City Pickleball on Instagram. And, you can always Google us, Capital City Pickleball, and go on our website. But Instagram is where we post a lot of our content, events. And, we have a lot of exciting, fun little projects. There's so much fun stuff coming up. And like, if you want to play with Mohammad or myself, we're always there. So come on down. Thanks to everybody for listening to this episode. Really, really appreciate it. Still blows me away to this day that like people are listening. I've barely been posting on social media, and like I check and I'm like, well, 30 people like listened today, and like I'm just like, oh man, people are still listening to these episodes. They're digging it. I really appreciate it. If you if this episode resonated with you, or any of the episodes resonate with you, share it with somebody. Like, follow, subscribe, do all that stuff. It really helps trying to build this thing, but I can't do it without you guys. So thank you so much. And that is the podcast.
Hey,
Thanks
thank
again,
you.
Mo.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
We'll
you, Taylor.
see you guys next time.
All right. Ciao, ciao.
Peace.